Well, hello there, all my paraventure friends. So glad you could tune in to be a part of this very special event. I'm thankful to be able to be a part of it here with you, although in a virtual and pre-recorded kind of way. Weekends are kind of busy, got a lot going on, always on the road doing things. But for the next little bit of time here, I shall be your host. My name's Dustin Perry. Some of you may know me from television's Ghost Hunters and Ghost Hunters International, a couple other cameos here and there. But at the end of it all, who really cares? Because I just got to say, we're all just spirits going through this human experience, right? We're not from here. We don't stay here. But while we are here, we should be trying to find ways to lift each other up, to learn together, to laugh together, to love each other. And I kind of feel that gets lost a lot because it becomes all very self-focused. It's all about me, me, me all the time. And we kind of lose track of the fact that we're not here alone. We often just let other people shirk into the background and we just treat them like background characters, and that's not fair. So, although I'm very thankful to have done so many different things over the years, and I'm thankful to all you guys who still come out to the events and show your support and your kindness and your love, we're all just the same singing, dancing crap of the world, just trying to get through, And I'm just thankful to be able to be here to be a part of this. I'm thankful to have had all these opportunities over the years and still be able to do things like this here today. This one is very special. I do have several family members with autism, a couple that are quite severe and unfortunately have to be hospitalized regularly. But it's one of those things that we hopefully learn more about and find ways to help. And so, yeah, if I can lend my voice to that today, happy to do so. So one of the things I want to talk to you about is a little bit of brief background about me. We'll keep it short. We'll keep it sweet. I was living in a home in Providence, Rhode Island when I was a little kid, just around 9 years old. I had my first paranormal encounter with what we call a shadow figure. By today's standards, it was a humanoid shadow figure, so just kind of the shape of a person. It didn't have the fancy hat or the cape like some of the upper level shadow figures get. I don't know. Like, I guess if you do so many things, you get rewarded with clothes. I'm not sure how that works. But some of them are just naked. I mean, not like you don't see their, parts that would normally be covered by a bathing suit. But it's just that humanoid shape. Then you get these other ones that have like a fancy hat, a fedora, a top hat, a cloak, cape, all these things. But anyway, I see this thing as a kid and I am terrified. And I'm like, you know what? Never want to see this thing again. Cover my head, say every prayer that I know. And next day, it's not there. I checked the closet, checked under the bed. Not there. Day after day, not there. And then I spent the rest of my life looking for the damn things. So shadow figures are still something that intrigued me. I've been able to investigate across 47 of our United States and 27 countries in all I've traveled to, looking for questions to the unknown, to the paranormal. Now I'm kind of at the phase where I don't feel like I have to document a damn thing. For me, it's a spiritual journey, and I think everyone's spiritual journey should be a personal journey. And I don't feel like I need to try to record or document things to try to prove anything to anybody else. Neither should you. Maybe we do it, if we're trying to help a homeowner or a business owner understand what's going on. But 9 times out of 10, you record this stuff, you go out of your way, you show it to people, and they don't believe it anyway. So what's it matter? It matters what's in here. This is what I want to really focus on. The power and the importance of belief and how we have to also evolve our beliefs. I mean, just quickly, if you look back, season 2 of Ghost Hunters, when I first started with the show, I was an off-camera cast member for a while, a team member of TAPS, doing cases here in New England. Got to go and be a part of the show. And I remember I was being so excited. I was so excited to watch the DVR. So cool. Saw it on TV, season 1. I'm going to watch the DVR and find ghosts. It's the most boring job there is, I think. I like listening to audio if I have to do evidence review. I do not enjoy staring at the screens for too long. We stare at screens too much as it is. Everybody's always got their head in their phone. Look at us now. I mean, this is kind of a nice thing that we're able to do with it. Have to be able to use the devil's tools against them sometimes. But for the most part, we're always just staring at screens. It's mind-numbing. It's hurt your eyes, hurt your brain. It's not good for us. It's not what we're meant for. We were meant to be here just, naked or maybe with a little bit of clothing on, gathering berries, hopefully having some special relationships with some friends and surviving and thriving. Now it's like we just work constantly, stare at screens, sit in traffic, and sit under artificial lights, have fake relationships with fake people, and hopefully get by. not enough thriving, and just merely surviving. I kind of feel like we lost our way somewhere along the way. So that's my long way of saying I don't like watching the DVR. I'd rather not. But season 2 Dustin was super excited to do so. And I logged every speck of dust, every orb that flew by. Look how amazing these things are. Now again, we don't all have to sing from the same hymnals. Believe what you want to believe. I'll believe what I believe. We'll get into the idea of evolving your beliefs a little bit further on here. But for now, I'm a young boy watching the DVR, once hopeful, now doubtful. And yeah, we used to present that as evidence all the time. Our experiences have grown and also shown us that, yeah, maybe all these orbs and things maybe they're dusts, maybe they're bugs, maybe they're moisture. And we start to realize that what we thought was one thing maybe turns out to be something else. Now, this doesn't mean, again, that we all have to believe the same thing. And I've seen some weird, unique looking orbs that I really can't figure out one way or another. Also, ones where you see with your bare eye, naked eye, is kind of interesting. But for majority of the purposes, I've had to evolve my beliefs in saying, yeah, when I see that stuff mostly now, I don't think it's actually spirit activity. Now, I could say no. Screw this. I want to double down on what I once believed. And that is that all these little specks of dust, all these little insects, all this little bit of moisture are indeed spirits. And there's like hundreds of them flying by the camera at any time in this dusty old jail. It's important for us to evolve our beliefs. If you really believe something and you still do to this day, then double down on it. That's fine. But if your evidence, if your experiences have led you to believe something different than what you once said, it's okay to correct those beliefs. It's okay to evolve those beliefs. It's okay to say, yeah, you know what? At one point I thought it was this, but then after all these years of experiences, I realized it was something else. A lot of us can't do that. It's not just paranormal speaking. A lot of us just feel like we have to toe the line and carry the torch for something that we once said, that we once believed, that we once identified with. And then, yeah, maybe over time, that changes. You look much more foolish when you double down on it and you know it not to be true. So belief, although incredibly important and incredibly personal, it's important that we evolve our beliefs with our experiences as we go on, as we go forward, because we can't just stay stagnant. And it's a very difficult thing sometimes for us to do, but it's important that we do so. So as we go and we investigate, be on the lookout for things that maybe aren't what you first thought. Maybe make you question things that you once thought were true. Maybe they're not anymore. Maybe they still are. But don't grow stagnant and don't become stubborn and don't look foolish saying something that you know in your heart maybe no longer is any true. So that's my little bit about belief. Now, let's talk about bullshit. Belief and bullshit. That's what we're going to call today's little section here. Because there's a lot of that too. And I get it. We want to be entertained, right? We are storytellers by nature, and we want people to tell us stories. We want to tell stories, and it's very easy for us as investigators to go in and put together a story based on the little bit of history that we have gleaned, the things we've been told, things that we've inferred, and then we go ahead and we look at our obelisk, and it's like apple, desk. Did you have a desk? Did you have an Apple computer? Did you like apples? Did you eat the seeds of an apple? Did you die choking on an apple core over at that desk? We made a story on 2 goddamn words. I see it happen all the time. And again, I'm glad you want to believe. Please do so. But know when it's bullshit. Know when you've gone a little bit too far. When you've started telling stories to yourself and you're doubling down on it and you're believing it and the evidence doesn't really support it. There's a lot of nonsense in the field. Always has been. And that's just kind of part of it. Which I think maybe makes digging through all the nonsense and all the BS to find those little nuggets of truth and joy all the more special. Because it's not easy. It's not easy. And especially now. My God, you can go on your phone and download some app or whatever. Make some CGI video and make it look really believable. But that's not truth. That's not truth. When we go out, we go to do our investigations as spirits going through human experience, I don't believe we even need all the gadgetry that we use. I think a lot of it is nonsense. Most of the stuff, we don't even know how the hell it works. Even some of us have gone as far as to research it, can't say for sure. We can tell you that, yeah, when it changes from green to yellow to red, that the levels of milligauss that we're measuring are going up. But we can't say for certain that that's spirit related. We can look at it and say, well, it seems to be coincidental when these other things happen. That's why I always like to have 2 pieces of equipment at any one time. If I have an EVP recorder sitting somewhere trying to record any voices, I also like to have a tri-field meter, something that has like a squelchy sound to it. Because when you go back and listen, you can't see your EMF detector. But if you have a tri-field meter and you hear a voice come through and then you hear the tri-field meter starting to squeal in the background, you're like, okay, this is cool. So I've got some voice that I can't explain and also some natural fluctuation in EMF here going on. So now we got 2 things working together. Well, that's much more interesting than I made up a story out of 2 words I saw in the obelisk. Now, that's not to say things like the obelisk and a lot of the word generators and the radio apps can't be used, and sometimes they can be used very effectively, but you have to guard yourself in how you do these things. You have to learn a little bit about the equipment. You have to be thoughtful about the other things going on. A lot of people don't know that REM pods can be easily triggered by cell phones, by apps, by walkie-talkies, by the radios of police cars or EMS that are going by. And we get all excited because it lit up. But what does it mean? Especially if it's just a one-off thing, which is why we want to ask follow-up questions. We want to try to get, repetitive results. So this way we get something to kind of say, okay, this continually happens when I ask this question. We're starting to get somewhere rather than light it up to red. And then like, it lit up to red. I'm like, what's it mean? I don't know. I'm glad we're all excited. I'm glad we all believe something. But at the end of the day, what is it that we can say is true? What is it can we say we actually believe and know to be true? And again, personal journey. Spirituality is a very personal thing. And I feel like, although maybe some people just feel like you're documenting ghosts, it's much bigger than that. We're talking, to me at least, majority of the time about energies that we cannot see, that may be from people who have passed away, maybe from other creatures, maybe something we don't totally understand yet, and that's okay. That's the beauty about evolving our beliefs as we go along. A lot of you may know that, like the history of the Frank's box, originally being used to talk with aliens. Some people don't know that. Some people don't know that Frank was called the Purple Princess in his conversations with these otherworldly beings, at least what he believed to be otherworldly beings. I was using one of my old boxes up at the old Hinsdale house up in upstate New York, near the Canadian border. I was there with my buddy Cody, and over the box, we received repeated messages saying that they were watching us from above and that they kept calling us earthies. Now, could that be a heaven type perspective? It could be if we believe heaven to be up there. I personally believe heaven is just kind of a little shift away from where we are. And if you look at the Dead Sea Scrolls and some of the things written by the Essenes, it seems to kind of talk to that. But then if you read like the Book of Enoch, it talks about seeing the world from above. So there's a lot of different things that are out there. But now, could it be a spiritual perspective or could it be something of an alien nature? These are questions that I think are worth discussing and require follow-up, require us to do further investigation and further exploration. And then also, again, allowing us to evolve our beliefs. But we have to be able to call bullshit on stuff that we really think is not true. Again, it's important to want to believe, but if you believe everything, then really you believe nothing. If you highlight a whole book saying every page is important, every word is important, then nothing is important because it's all the same. It's all equal. Steve Gonzalez, who I've had the pleasure to call a friend for many, many moons now, worked with us with Ghost Hunters for many years and became really good friends. Steve always would say, the harder you are on the evidence, the better your evidence will be. And I still think that is one of the most thoughtful statements as it comes to what we do. Because, yeah, there's sometimes you catch something that you think is really interesting. Sounds really, really good. But you also know at the same time, the homeowner did come in the house for a couple of minutes. Could have been around that time. Not sure if it was them or not. Well, if you're not sure, then you kind of have to throw the damn thing out. Even though you really want it to be true, you can't say for certain that it wasn't somebody else that came into the home. It's better to err on the side with caution and say, yeah, we can't put this through as something that we believe to be paranormal because there's possibly quite a rational explanation for it. And it sucks when you're very excited about it because, again, we want to believe, but if there's a chance it's not, if there's a chance it's not real, if there's a chance it's not true, then it's best to just move on without it because eventually, when you do get that really nice, clean, and crisp EVP, and you know nobody else was in the building, nobody else was nearby, and you know there's no other explanation for it, well, now you can stand on that moment and say, this This is a piece of evidence that I've put through the rigor. I've been very tough on everything that I've caught before this, and this, no matter how tough I am on it, I cannot explain. That's a beautiful thing. Again, using two pieces of equipment, I think, will always be better than just one on its own. So it's up to you what you like to use. But I really don't feel that we need a lot of equipment. I think that we've all been endowed with certain spiritual gifts. It's funny, when I first started doing this type of work, everybody was sensitive. And I don't mean they just cried during a Disney movie, because I do that too. But everyone was sensitive to things. I'm not psychic, but I'm sensitive. And that's fine if you want to classify it that way. Then there was a lot of mediums that popped up. Now it seems to be the newest thing is empath. So I'm empathic. I'm not trying to burst your bubble, because if you feel very empathic, that's a wonderful thing. But we're all empathic. We're all meant to be empaths. We're not supposed to be devoid of feeling or understanding or notion that when somebody else enters a room and is around us, that we feel their emotion as well. If your friend calls you and tells you that they're sad and they feel bad about things, if you're a good friend, if you're a good person, you will be an empath and feel that sadness as well. Unless you're a complete psycho who is just self-absorbed, of which, unfortunately, in today's reality, there's probably more than not. We are spiritual creatures going through human experience. We're not from here. We don't stay here. We're supposed to be in tune with each other. You've heard stories before about like a parent whose child gets into a car accident on the other side of the state, other side of the globe, and all of a sudden they just know something happened. They know something switched off, something is different. Twins that can sense each other's presence even though they're not in the same area, they know what's going on with each other. We are meant to always be connected. But I just feel like a lot of us have lost that. So yeah, it's good if you feel that you're in touch more with your empathic abilities. But it's sad that so many of us aren't, because we're all meant to have that gift. We're all meant to be able to tie into that type of thing. Even when it comes to some of the psychic abilities. I do this series of events called Spirit Quest. The next one I have is going to be at Malvern Manor in July. Malvern Manor is one of my favorite places. Amazing, amazing location. And what I like about Malvern Manor is I like to call it the paranormal onion. There's like layers going on there. There's all kinds of stuff. It was a mixed-use property over many years. A lot of different people lived there. A lot of people came through there. And so I think there's a lot of spiritual energy that's kind of residual and hangs around there. Again, I don't believe spirits ever be trapped anywhere. My belief doesn't have to be yours. Can still be friends. It's okay. I just don't think a loving God or goddess would ever be like, no, you can't go there yet. You got to stay here. Well, it just doesn't resonate with me. And it has not been my experience. So my beliefs have to be backed up by my experiences. But I do believe that we all carry some spiritual energy with us. And when we spend time in a place, especially over a long period of time, or something traumatic or something wonderful happens, maybe we shed a little bit of that energy there and kind of stain the environment, imprint the environment with it. I think that happens more often than not. So I'm going to be doing Spirit Quest at Malvern Manor. And Spirit Quest events are always less than 20 people, usually around 15, depending on the size of the building. And they are spirit driven. We do not spend a lot of time with equipment. We spend a lot of time doing experiments of consciousness, seeing how we can connect to each other. And a lot of the experiments that I've done, whether they're using the Zener cards, the ESP cards with the wavy lines and the star and the triangle, the things you saw in Ghostbusters, we do experience with those. We do experience with Ouija boards. Oh my God, Ouija boards, we're all going to go to hell. Again, my experience, not so much, kids. You're just trying to contact the other side. You look into the history of Ouija boards. You go back to the old fruit baskets used by the Chinese way back in the day. Satan doesn't have a deal with Parker Brothers. It's intent. It's what you put out there. Again, my beliefs don't have to be yours. You don't have to get upset and send me hate mail. Instead, just go do something nice for somebody else if you're really upset. Use your energy in a positive way. But I don't believe them to be evil. My experience has never shown them to be evil for me. I also didn't think they worked for the longest time. But then I was doing a case where I had an EVP recorder laying next to the Ouija board. And when the two young ladies that were using the Ouija board were saying what they were getting on the board, there was a male voice that came through and said the same thing that they just spelled out. So I was like, I've got two pieces of equipment. One that I don't really believe in. I definitely don't think it's evil, but I don't think it really works. But now they spelled out the same word that a male voice said on the recorder, and there was no guy there. That was interesting to me. So I have to evolve my beliefs again. So when I do these things at Spirit Quest, we start to see that the 15 to 20 of us that are there in the room are much more connected than we could ever imagine. and that we start to pick up on different nonverbal cues that the other people are putting down. And the point of all these experiments is to show that if we can do that with each other here, why can't we do that with each other out there? I don't believe that we need to have robots in between my spirit and the invisible realm to talk to other spirits. We just need to tune out this world a little bit and tune into what really matters, what we know to be true, what we have in our heart, what we have in our soul energy, our spirit, our life force, whatever you want to call it. There's something there. And I just feel like those things are much more meaningful than it lit up red. Yay. I don't know. It's just me. Again, my beliefs don't have to be your beliefs, but it's important that you have belief. And I think that's one of the most beautiful things about the paranormal field. We all are here, I believe, because we want something more. Because we feel there has to be something more. Because it can't all just be sitting in traffic, struggling to pay bills, hoping to get by to the next thing, maybe socking away enough money so we can go on vacation. Well, I get to go away for 1 week, and the other 51 weeks I did some stupid job I didn't like. That's not what this life is about. And I know we get to work day jobs. I do it all the time. I work in surgery. I've worked in surgery for over 22 years now. I don't hate it. But if I didn't have to do it, would I? Probably not. We'll have to find that life balance because we don't know how much time we have in this life. So you have to make sure that you're doing some things that you enjoy, some things that are meaningful to you, and believing in something more, something greater than what we are, I really think helps put a lot of things into perspective. And that's why I love the Loch Ness Monster. The Loch Ness Monster is my favorite cryptid. And I feel it doesn't get a lot of love. But I really wish it did because I love Nessie. I remember being a little kid and seeing a TV special where they were going to comb through the loch and find Nessie using the most sophisticated equipment that they had at the time. I believe this was the late 80s. And they were pretty much just boats with fish finders all together going across the lake. They didn't find her. No, I like to think she hid or became invisible, maybe went to a tunnel or some other world. But more than likely, yeah, maybe she's not there. Maybe it's all just been a wonderful story. But we need those stories sometimes too. Because, I don't know about you, but I don't want to live in a world without magic. I don't want to live in a world without possibility. I don't want to live in a world without hope or in a world without the power of belief. But we have to remember how strong our belief can be and how powerful we are as spiritual beings going through human experience. Regardless of any political affiliation you may or may not have, I really could not give a rat's ass. But I will say this, whoever's in charge globally, I think keeps people specifically distracted, divided, dumbed down, in debt, drugged up, drunk, just constantly at each other's throats. Because as long as you can control the masses, as long as you can control the narrative, as long as you can keep everybody at odds with each other, well, it's really easy to maintain everything else that you really care about. Because everybody else is in chaos. So I don't worry about those kind of things. I go through my life trying to take care of the people that I can, trying to love the people that are around me, and trying to help anybody else that I can that I come across, regardless of what their beliefs may be. Because we can't pick and choose those that we care about. I mean, a lot of us do, but we really shouldn't. The spirits going through this human experience, we're meant to grow together. And that may mean some people are on your team, some people may be wearing your jersey and they're not on your team, and other people may identify themselves as your absolute mortal enemy, which is so silly. But we should always show love. We should always show kindness. Martin Luther King Jr. said that throwing darkness upon darkness will do nothing to help the light. And that's what I try to remember every day of my life. When I go out here, I look for opportunities to help other people. Regardless of who they are, what they believe, how they affiliate, whatever it may be, it doesn't matter to me because I just see us all as the same. And I just want people to be kind to each other and to love each other. And to allow for people to believe as they want to believe. And evolve their beliefs as they need to evolve their beliefs as they go forward in this life. As long as we're going through with a helpful heart and a happy heart and trying to find ways to help each other through this life. And that's why I'm thankful to be a part of this today. Because I believe that the paranormal community is a wonderful community of people with really big hearts. And a lot of love to give. And again, we want to believe that there's something more because we know it to be true. Somehow, our spiritual selves inside us know that there's something else out there. Maybe we don't remember everything about the before times, but we know there was something. it's interesting because we often focus on what comes after, because we're here now. So we're looking to, the next thing. I often think about where we were before, because if this energy was not created and can't be destroyed, well, this had to be somewhere else before I got here, before I picked out this lovely little meat suit to go about the world in. And I know it's important to us to know what comes next, because as much as we experience the afterlife through the paranormal, which is a wonderful thing, there's still that little fear of death, right? I mean, I'm not terribly afraid to die, but I'm also not in a rush. But I'm at the point now where I've seen enough, thanks to the paranormal and thanks to my own beliefs, that I know there is more. I know this isn't the end, but I don't know where I was before this. I don't know if it was reincarnation. I don't know if I was just hanging out in heaven eating mozzarella sticks and watching Latin girls dance. That's my idea of heaven. But I don't know. I don't know, but I'm curious. I'm curious. And I'm curious if I get to do it all again. If I have to, quite honestly, I'm kind of tired. I like a break. But there's so many great experiences to have down here. I don't know. But I'm thankful to be a part of this. I'm thankful to be a part of this world and for us all to be here on the same timeline. And I just want to thank all of you for spending your time here today. Something I've been closing all my lectures with the last couple of years is this. This world will have you believe the most important thing in it is money. That's what it's all about. And so we all work our jobs and we slave away to get more money. But no matter what your job is, you're really trading your time for that money. Whatever time you have left on this earth, you don't know. And you're trading it to get more money. And then you use that money to buy goods, to pay bills, to go to paranormal events, to support wonderful events like this one here today. And no matter how hard you work, you can never get that time back. You may make more money, but no money can buy any more time. So the fact that you guys would choose to not only spend your time watching this today, but you've also spent your time to raise the money to help support this, that means a hell of a lot. And I'm thankful for it. And I'm thankful to have given my time to be here with you all today. I hope you enjoyed something. And again, not everything I say has to be for everybody. We're all unique. We're all different. That's a beautiful thing. But if there's something that you liked, maybe think upon that. Maybe use that and plant a little seed within yourself and see if you can grow and come up with some new ideas and new beliefs based upon that. If there's something you didn't like, that's okay too. You don't have to be so angry about it. We're all different. Let's all just move forward in love and light. Like we write on Facebook, I'm all about love and light. And then we bitch about each other. Don't do that. Don't do that. Thank you so much, my friends. I'm thankful to be a part of this. Happy to be here with you. Let's raise a lot of money and do a lot of good. And hopefully I'll see you somewhere on the road. If you're looking for me, DustinParry.com is the easy way to find me. That's DustinParry.com. A lot of events on the road. I hope to see you somewhere. And if you like this, drop me a little note. Thank you so much. Take care. God bless.